Hello children, how are you? Welcome to English digital class. Dear children, today we learn about the great and brave kings of India. Before that, let us see objectives of this lesson. Objectives of this lesson: to make the children understand the playlet, to make the sense of reading the conversation, to make the children get inspired by the characters in the play, to make the children think about the war, to generate own text from the given passage, to reflect on the playlet, to know the relation between the kings, to develop knowledge in constructing dialogue, to identify the major events depicted in the passage. Okay children, let us see the images of the great and brave kings of our country. Ashoka, Krishnadevaraya, Shivaji, brave Puru. Children, shall I put a question? Who are they? Yes, they are the brave and great kings of our country. Children, would you like to see more about Puru and Alexander? Now, let us see a video.
Alexander has accomplished a difficult night crossing of the Hydaspes River. He's defeated a small Indian advance force. And now he's about to launch his attack against the full might of the Indian army.
Alexander had this phenomenal ability to very quickly read a battlefield and formulate a strategy to gain the advantage.
Alexander deploys his 4,000-strong cavalry squadron toward Porus's left flank. Porus only has a total of 2,000 cavalry, 1,000 on each wing. Porus orders his cavalry on the right wing to pull out of position, ride behind the battle line, and reinforce the left. And that's the mistake Alexander's been waiting for. Now Alexander orders 𝗂𝗽𝗱, one of his commanders, and 2,000 of his cavalry that had been heading for Porus's left flank to change direction and attack the defenseless right. As 𝗂𝗽𝗱 and the 2,000 cavalry ride behind the Indian lines, Alexander orders his horse archers to bombard the Indian cavalry with volley after volley of deadly missiles. Alexander then leads his elite brigade of 2,000 cavalry on a furious ride, swinging wide right and out past Porus's left flank. As the Indians begin to march to the left, and with 𝗂𝗽𝗱 also on the move, Alexander changes direction again. Instead of sweeping around Porus's left flank, he suddenly turns inward and cuts off the left wing from the main body of the army.
The left wing of Porus's army.
Now Porus is exactly where Alexander wants him. His left wing shattered, cavalry destroyed. Alexander now moves his heavy infantry against the Indian center, but Porus is not about to give up. He orders his archers to attack. The Indian bow is 6 feet of strong, flexible bamboo. To extend it fully, the archer must anchor the bow in the ground and steady it with his foot. Tremendous size gives it unparalleled firepower. Its arrows with sharp bone or metal tips can penetrate any armor. But because of the weather, the archers are ineffective. With his left wing destroyed, Porus's army is reduced to his infantry, his war-trained armored elephants, and their archers. But the elephants do have one soft spot, their eyes. The Greek infantrymen attempt to secure their target. Through the chaos, Alexander pummels the Indian center and pulverizes its flank. Despite being trapped in the deadly two-sided attack, Porus fights on.
Gaggle of 10, 12,000 men, animals, chariots, donkeys, horses, whatever. They literally can't move, and the infantry is pressing against them. The cavalry is pressing from the side. In these kinds of battles, as long as you're maneuvering on the open close combat, it gets horrifically bloody because you can't maneuver. You can't even run away. I mean, the problem at the Battle of Hibiscus was you couldn't get away.
Brutal man-to-man combat. Animals hacked to pieces. The Battle of Hydaspes turns into a gruesome massacre. Alexander and his Greek killing machine are destroying the Indian army at the Battle of the Hydaspes River. Porus's army is caught in a death trap. About 7 hours after the battle begins, Porus's army is nearly destroyed. But Porus himself survives. Alexander admires Porus's bravery and determination to keep fighting in the face of certain defeat.
Alexander.
Greek historian Arrian records the conversation. Alexander was the first to speak. "What," he said, "do you wish that I should do with you?" "Treat me as a king ought," Porus famously replied. With his victory at Hydaspes, Alexander the Great has taken his first step across the Indian frontier, but it is also his last. As he advances deeper into India, several states set aside their own rivalries and now stand united against the invader. At the next battle site, Alexander is confronted by 300,000 Indian troops. By now, Alexander's men can see that their leader's quest has turned into a suicide mission. They've been fighting long and hard, and mutiny is in the air. Alexander, always attuned to his men, ultimately surrenders to the will of his troops and heads south, returning to Babylon in modern-day Iraq. But his eastern adventure may have cost him his life. Alexander the Great, one of history's most brilliant military tacticians, dead at 33. The conqueror of much of the known world, his record and his leadership skills still stand as the inspiration for great military minds throughout history.
Children, shall we know the greatness of Puru. Puru is the one of the bravest kings in northern India. Alexander the Great, the king of Macedonia, who conquered Greece, Persia, also wanted to conquer India. All other kings in the world frightened by the victories of Alexander the Great. When Alexander's soldiers entered India territory, they already got tired. Puru and his soldiers fought terribly. With Alexander's soldiers, Puru fought even others had left the field. He killed hundreds of Alexander's soldiers and was badly injured himself. After a long battle at Jhelum, Alexander's soldiers defeat Puru and captures him. Alexander come to know how bravely Puru fought and wanted to see the brave Puru, orders his soldiers to bring him to his camp, which is on the bank of Jhelum. The soldiers brought Puru, who has been put in chains. Alexander orders his soldiers to remove the chains because he is a brave king besides being a great soldier. Puru did not bow down to Alexander and stood like a brave king. Alexander asked Puru to feel sorry for fighting against him. Puru did not feel sorry and said that he had not done any mistake fighting against Alexander and tried to protect his country and his kingdom should remain independent. Though Puru was captured as a prisoner, he says he is still the lawful king of his country and he wanted to be treated as a king. Alexander pleased with the brave Puru and wanted to make friendship with him and called as a brother. Puru accepts Alexander's proposal on a condition that his kingdom should remain set free and treat him as equal to Alexander. Alexander agreed, and from that time onwards they became best friends. You came to know about the braveness of Puru and how he reacted in front of Alexander. Now I will put some questions. Who was Puru? Do you believe that Puru made mistake fighting against Alexander? Do you think Alexander was really great? Please give reasons. Children, in the lesson, the story took place in the form of conversation. Alexander, Puru talk with each other. What is a conversation? Shall we see the features of conversation? The features of conversation. Conversation should have dialogues with a number of exchanges. The exchanges should be in a sequence. Conversation should not end abruptly. Conversation contain expression. Conversation should contain discourse markers like well, anyway, as a matter of fact, to be frank, etc. In conversation, the exchanges linked with each other, linkers like but, now, somehow, anyhow, I suppose, etc. Conversation should have proper syntax or word form, punctuation marks and spelling. Children, you know where the conversation takes place, like hospitals, medical shop, bus stop, market, banks, etc. Children, here is an example of conversation. Please look at shopping for vegetables. Here is a conversation between customer and a shopkeeper at the shop of vegetables. Customer: please show me some fresh green vegetables. Shopkeeper says, what would you like? Everything is fresh. Customer: all right, please give me half a kilo of brinjals. Shopkeeper: what else can I give you? Customer: 1 kilo of potatoes and half a kilo of tomatoes. Shopkeeper: what about cabbage? Customer: all right, give me the small one. Shopkeeper: I will weigh it. It's 1 kilo and 250 grams. It will cost you 18 rupees. Customer: okay, how much does the total come to? Shopkeeper: starts weighing and packing into polythene bags. Customer, oh no, no polythene bags. I have brought my cloth bags along. Shopkeeper, that's very thoughtful of you. Your bill is 78. Children, I hope you understood the conversation between the customer and the shopkeeper. Children, shall we see one more model conversation? For that, you turn the page number 52 in your textbook. Teacher, Meghana, have you ever been to Himalayas? Meghana, no sir, I have never been to the Himalayas. Teacher, do you have any idea about the Himalayas? Meghana, yes, I do. Teacher, tell me whatever you know about it. Meghana, sir, the Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. Teacher, oh, are they? Then tell me which is the highest peak among them. Meghana, Mount Everest, sir. Teacher, what sort of help is available to the climbers in the Himalayas? Meghana, sir, there are plenty of Sherpas. Teacher, who are these Sherpas? Meghana, sir, they are helpers in the mountains. They carry our luggage to earn their living. Teacher, good, Meghana. Meghana, thank you, sir. Children, let us see the glossary of this lesson. Go down, to be recorded. Your Highness, a title of respect used when talking to or about a member of the royal family. Warfare, the act of fighting a war. Your Majesty, the way of addressing royal people. Vassal, a man promising to fight for a king in return for the right to hold land. Children, you also practice writing conversations at your home with the help of your teacher, your friends. Children, I hope you enjoyed the class. Bye-bye.